the last topic I have here is about AI. Yeah, because I'm interested to know, because I'm computer science major and I work in this area, but I know your major have nothing to do with it. But I know how that exposes your life. The first question, how do you utilize AI in your daily life?
I think it's really simple.
Use ChatGPT homework.
cramming some stuff, use it for research, or just kind of like playing around with like music, like sometimes using the AI to write prompts or something. But I merely just use ChatGPT to just help with the little things, because I feel like even my own understanding of how to use the AI engine is kind of like Andres. He teaches me how to use it way better because he works with it.
Yeah, he's computer science major. I know.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm just kind of bare boning it, like, hey, help me understand what this part of the textbook means, and it's very simple. I've found that how a lot of students have the temptation to use it to write their essays or whatever. And I think I've encountered also the same temptation to use AI to do things to just do it easier, and
and sometimes they do much better than than you. Right. So got you. So basically, the utilize of AI in your daily life is more like utilize ChatGPT to maybe ask some questions, maybe polish your writing, or maybe things like that.
Yeah.
Got you. So another question is that this is a worry a lot of people may have. Do you worry about AI will replace your job or replace a lot of people's job in the future?
I think like definitely could replace jobs. When I think of AI, I think of Terminator. I think of Skynet. I think of nuclear bombs.
It's like a negative. So so your overall.
Well, overall, I think I have a more positive view on it, because it's not this like movie AI thing. It's just a simple engine that could or could not be stealing all your data. But yeah, I actually have a positive outlook that the engine will be enhanced, and it won't be used for like crazy stuff. But although sometimes I'm like, well, I wonder if it can really think for itself, go all creepy and stuff. But
get you.
Yeah.
So basically, you did think that it may take some kind of job.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably just.
Are you worried about that? For example, if people lose job, right? How to get an income, all those things, right? Even me, you, or our friends.
That's a tricky one, because when it comes to economics, when they talk about capitalism, the specialization, and we should, and like innovation, like innovation is always desired because it makes cheaper products and cheaper products,
more efficient
consumerism, easier. But honestly, I don't think you could stop it. And if it does create a ginormous gap in the job market, I think like we'll just have to make a better society for people. Like but if it happens in 10 years, I think that's not
faster in 10 years. Think about ChatGPT. 3 years.
If in 3 years, like 3 million people go out of jobs, I think we're cooked.
That will be hard.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do?
Right. Let's say, for example, self-driving, right? Or even, cooking maybe still something take longer time, but like a driver, right? And even factory, right? Even in the past decades, the workers in the manufacturing keep decreasing, right? We need fewer and fewer people. Okay. The next question is that if you think about the development of AI in the next 10 years,
Mhm.
what's the most exciting thing for you? For example, like robot, something like that.
Robert. Who's Robert?
Robot.
Robot.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I was reading this book. It's called Ultra 85 by the artist Logic. I think that's really funny because he wrote a book. But there's this character in this spaceship that is an AI and talks to the people driving the spaceship. And I'm like, I think I'd just be really excited to have like an impersonal friend, like Jarvis or something. You know, I think that would excite me a lot because I don't know. I'm someone who's very relational. I think if I were to use AI for anything, I would have witty banter, you know.
Got you. So which means that you may build some kind of a relationship.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Just a tool. You can't
Well,
get
well, I think that even I know that some friends have some kind of emotional attachment. For example,
Yeah.
because you have a bad day,
Mhm.
of course you may think about call your friends
Right.
to have a conversation. But I also know some friends what they did is they just talk with ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Have you ever tried to talk with ChatGPT?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So well, and sometimes it can provide you kind of some comfort, right?
I think like it can, but I think we shouldn't from the fact that it can be coping as well, not comfort, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that's more dangerous, I think, if we ascribe human attributes in that way. But yeah, I don't know. I think I personally would not want to ascribe like deep emotions towards it. I think I would want to make sure to distinguish it. Tool, you're a tool, or you're.
Gotcha. So you actually will draw a boundary line
Yeah.
between, okay, this is a relationship with humans, and this is a tool, just like you drive a car.
Right.
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 I got you. Because, well, then what's the, just go back to the question, what's the part you are excited to see AI can, right, can be utilized more? Right, like a robot, just now I mentioned, it means that everyone, maybe just like a smartphone, like a computer, maybe in the future everyone has a robot at home.
Robot servant. Well, I think that'd be really exciting, but I don't know. I don't have too much of an imagination for it. I think I might need to learn a bit more, but
yeah. Because the reason, I use the whole topic to talk about it, because I'm in this area. I feel pressure about AI. The reason why I say pressure is that every day when I watch something related to AI, there's something new thing happen. I always have a feeling or anxiety that I'm falling behind. What's the technology people are using today may be different with last week, with last year. So that's why I am curious about, people like you, not in this industry.
Right.
Does AI have such a high pressure on you? That's why I'm curious about this question. And how about your friends around you? Do they talk a lot about AI?
Besides my friend Andres, who works.
He's computer science.
He'll talk
computer
about
science major.
He codes it pretty much, so he'll talk to me about it. But not really. My friends don't really talk too much about it. Like, they're very practical. Like they're doing just very practical studies, So.
Got you. More focused on their own subject.
Yeah.
Right. If I learn, chemistry. If I learn, mechanical. Most of that time they focus on their own subjects. Then, but have you think about that? All the knowledge we learn in college, spend 4 years to learn it. You can easily talk with ChatGPT and ask him a question, and it give you an answer. Can you see in future maybe the knowledge we learned gradually become kind of like not so important, because it's like when you have Google, a lot of facts you needn't to remember, right? If you forget, you just Google, or what's the equation, what's the, right? You needn't to remember who is the number 20 or 30 president of the United States.
Right.
You just Google, or you ask, right? Yeah. So do you see that, the education we receive in college is not, as important as it used to be?
I think education will always be important in terms of exposure. But I think the value in which we ascribe it, I think it definitely has been devaluing, and I think will continue to devalue in a certain way. But hopefully, if it is devalued enough, maybe it can be more accessible. For those who aren't willing to completely go into the AI route and kind of have them do all their homework. I just hope that more people would be able to be open to information.
Yeah, maybe. I think that maybe AI will make again like Google, right, or like a smartphone, make knowledge, make information more accessible to the majority of people. But also sometimes I feel where AI creates kind of like more monopoly. Because let's say if you use ChatGPT and if it dominate the whole markets, and it know you so much because you may communicate with it a lot, right? They have the data to say who you are, what's your major, what you are curious about. They will know you very well. Do you will you worry about its future? Those big AI.
I actually would a little bit, just like if it's unintentionally being invasive, in privacy. But yeah, if it got to that point, I think maybe legislation would have to.
Yeah, but legislation takes time.
Yeah.
Legislation always fall behind the evolution of society.
I guess the question is how can we prepare for that?
Yeah. And especially if someday you want to become a politician, right? How AI will reshape how people do politician, maybe different. Even like the president election campaign. How people do the campaign now can be, I assume, very different 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people, spend a lot of energy time on like TikTok, on YouTube, or on those social media to influence people's decision. Maybe in your parents or their generation, most of the time by TV.
Right.
To understand, to understand, candidates. Right.
Yeah.
Can you see some, or in your imagination, do you think that you can see some, change AI will do to politics, how people do politics?
I think it would merely make. I don't think it would make perhaps the environment different, but it would merely just make the people react different. Misinformation is always going to be there. People using the internet to spout propaganda or whatever. But I think it just might make people view politics more more. What's the word? Divisively. Yeah, I think that might just change people in the way they just view truth. So.
And also, do you think that AI, may influence, how people about Christianity, how people interact with God? Because when we talk about love, when we talk about relationship, right? Most of the time we talk about with humans. And in the future, when we interact more and more with machine, with AI instead of humans, can you see the possibility that people will the believe the faiths will be get kind of like weakened somehow, right? Because you cannot build faith by communicating with a machine, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's a crucial part about religion, but Christianity as well. It's community. I think there's something very crucial in being in community. God says to be with the body of Christ, and that is a metaphor for meeting different parts of the church, different parts of people, serving other people. And you can't feel love if you're not in a community. If you're always talking to a robot, how can you
Right, that's what I can see, in the future.
Yeah.
I can see
Like
that
people.
there's a possibility, the isolation.
Yeah,
Right.
that could be a very
That could be, right? Because again, maybe 30 years ago, people, build connections through, real connection.
Mhm.
Later, we have smartphone, we have Facebook,
Right.
we have all those social media. I guess that not even that alone, the younger generation. I think even you look at your friends, right? Maybe people spend a lot of time online
Mhm.
and communicate with someone virtually,
Mhm.
right? Then of course you spend more time with people virtually,
Right.
remotely. Then you will give few time in people have, let's say we sit here, look at your face, right? And even the worse, maybe 10 years later, that generation will get used to, okay, I will go back home, talk with my, simulation friends, my ChatGPT, and in future, especially as a friend, like a buddy or even a girlfriend, boyfriend,
Yeah.
I can see that, real, connection is threatened, is weakened. I can see the possibility. Yeah. And and I think that the last question for this topic, what's your biggest concern, or what do you think is the biggest threat that AI may have on human society?
I just think of Skynet.
like a monitoring network on everyone.
Yeah, or like a huge sentient being kind of controlling everything and being like, oh, like the classic movie thing, like, oh, my programming is to help the human race, to only help the human race is to eradicate the human race and go haywire or whatever. But
most of those, science fiction movie, I feel it's a little bit, it's like it will cause a disaster. Because it's a movie, it needs a disaster.
I think like probably the biggest threat it would have is just like you said, isolation. Like if it really divides.
So isolation may be a more practical threat than destroy the whole society.
Phones, I mean, already isolate us very easily.
Yeah, because I saw, people, sit together, but still take a lot of time to, I watch my phone, you watch your phone. Then what's the meaning to sit together, to have a dinner together, if we don't talk to each other, right? Yeah, isolation, I agree, and that's something we should pay attention to, and yeah. Well, I think that we already talk a lot, 2.5 hours, and thank you, Owen, and thanks so much. It's really a fun talk.
No, thank you, Barack. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, and it's really nice to talk.